We've all fallen into boring routines. We just keep doing what has to get done. Isn't it time to escape the old routine and make time for yourself? Make time to go out with old friends. Make time to add excitement back into your life. Make time to feel like a winner again. Life is more fun when you live it. So what are you waiting for? Escape every day at Wind Creek Casino and on the Casinoverse app.
To Roundup or other weed killers. A California jury recently found Monsanto's weed killer caused a groundkeeper's cancer and issued a verdict for $78 million. More evidence found that Monsanto, the manufacturer of Roundup, may have known that Roundup and other weed killers were likely linked to organ damage and cancer. This information was hidden from the public as proprietary trade secret since 1981, and Monsanto may have failed to adequately warn about the potential risk of cancer. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with cancer after being exposed to Roundup or other weed killers, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Sentinel Group now. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Don't fight it alone. 1-800-619-8064. 1-800-619-8064. That's 1-800-619-8064. 1-800-619-8064.
WQEE 99.1 FM The Key. Home of Southern Sports and Talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin.
Are you looking for guidance and direction? Stop on by the House of Light Tuesdays from 12 to 3 and have tea and tarot with Christy. The House of Light is located at 29 Jackson Street in Noonan, Georgia. Call 470-414-6711 for more information.
The House of Light brings clarity to your soul, offering a safe space for healing through our compassionate practitioners, services, classes, and wisdom, plus the tools to support you in our retail space.
If you think or know you had COVID-19, you can be around others after 10 days since symptoms first appeared, and after 24 hours with no fever without fever-reducing medication, and after other symptoms have improved. If you have tested positive for COVID-19 and you had no symptoms, you can be around others 10 days after you got tested for COVID-19. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus.
This is Jared Rutledge of the Columbus River Dragons, your home for River Dragons hockey in Noonan.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele. It's now time for the House of Light presents The Wisdom Cafe, each and every week at this time on 99.1 FM WQEE. Here's this week's special.
Welcome into this week's special, and we've got a couple of great guests, and someone who hasn't been with us in a while is in the house today. Let's let them introduce themselves. We're going to start over here with someone we haven't seen in a while.
Vanya Levitt from the House of Light.
All right,
Vanya. Pretty much do everything over there.
Oh, yeah, you everything from what you do to plumbing as well, cooking and plumbing. Keep the House of Light going even under the House of Light.
Yeah.
And you got a special guest with us. Who's our special guest?
Hi, my name is Marissa Smith. I am actually an emotion code practitioner, focuses on energy psychology, and my company is called Iconica Health, but I am a practitioner at the House of Light.
Okay, sounds great. Well, let's get into a little bit about what you do. So let's learn a little bit more about what you do. Let our listeners know. I mean, you said all these big words, and some of my listeners are like, well, what does that mean?
So emotion code was created by a doctor. His name is Dr. Bradley Nelson, chiropractor. And it relies on the use of manual muscle testing, which is techniques from the School of Kinesiology.
Right.
So pretty much you have all forms of energy healing. Okay. And one of the most prominent ones known is acupuncture.
Okay.
Which is really well known and is accepted by the healthcare industry. But you still, again, we have many forms of energy healing, and a lot of them are not accepted. This one is relatively new, but pretty much I am muscle testing the subconscious. So like if you were to sit down for a counseling session,
right?
Instead of you having a back and forth conversation with me, I am pretty much communicating with the most important part I feel, which is just the subconscious. That part knows everything about you, wants the best for you, and that way you're not having to relive and regurgitate the information and the pain that you're experiencing.
Right.
pretty much I'm going to ask yes or no questions to the mind, and it's going to give me a yes or no answer by doing different forms of muscle testing, whether it's like me pulling at my fingers, whether it's me doing an arm drop on you. So like if you go to the chiropractic office and they wanted to test you for a allergy intolerance,
right,
they would place a piece of fruit in your hand, and they would try to lower your hand, and either it would lock up or it would loosen. So that's the way the subconscious can actually communicate on a earthly form, I guess.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much it. And yeah, there's a lot more to go into it, but I think we should let Vanya speak a little bit and share her experience.
Yes.
So, I had it done a couple months ago, maybe. It's been a couple months ago. And it actually works. It's amazing how your subconscious holds your traumas. And this allows you to not have to go through that. So when she muscle tests you,
right,
she then releases that trauma and where it sits in your body. It can be sitting in your liver, in your kidney, or whatever. And it's amazing how the pain goes away. And you're like sitting there like, huh? What? How did that? Yeah, because she's not even touching you,
right,
at all. So it's very much about energy and the energy field in your body.
Okay. And when you first began this calling, was it something you knew? Was it something you decided to do? How did you get into this? Did you go experience it yourself? Or
No, actually, I was working with a practitioner named Holly Ridgely. She's in Decula at a chiropractic office.
Right.
Now, this chiropractor never really used muscle testing in his office. And he actually had a colleague of his who was a professional baseball player, turned into a pastor,
right,
turned into a CBD expert, walk into the office one day. And I've always been on that journey of trying to self-explore and learn more.
Right.
And it just so happens I was at that point in time trying to look into different modalities.
Right.
And he had mentioned the emotion code to me.
Right.
So it's funny because I was, it was about midnight.
Okay.
Right before COVID hit, honestly. And
really?
I was watching, I'm not big onto horror movies, but I was watching a murder mystery on Netflix of somebody's, like it was a documentary of somebody's life. And pretty much like I had remembered researching this modality, and this little girl went missing, ended up the body was never found, and the sister still was alive.
Right.
So I'm always trying to fix everybody and help the world, which I'm working on not doing. I'm trying to stay in my own lane.
Right.
Pretty much like I was like, how can I help her?
Right.
So I immediately went online to the school.
Right.
Dropped several thousands of dollars and started the training immediately.
Wow.
And it just kind of, I basically had to reverse the training because it started during COVID.
Right.
So versus the easy way, which is to work on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to a psychologist, psychiatrist, or counselor, they're going to have you do it where they're moving your arms up and down or having you sway back and forth. They're not going to actually do it by proxy, which is them working on you through themselves. So I had to reverse it. So now it's like, this is like super easy for me to do. I prefer to do it this way versus having to raise your arm and lower your arm for 30 minutes to an hour, which sounds like a workout.
It is.
Wow, it's too much of a workout.
It is, yeah.
But pretty much through his modality and training, I have been able to grow to understand my gifts.
Right.
And pretty much like his modalities allow me to help people who want accurate readings and accurate information, whether it's a timeline, who it came from, parents, generational, what body part it came from, why it came from, if you have an allergy tolerance of some sort. So otherwise, I just remove it from you.
Okay.
But you automatically, you basically will feel it immediately. You'll start feeling these things. And you'll go through like a 3-day, let's say, cycle. So you'll be ups and downs a little bit.
Okay.
But you're going to start feeling stuff. And once it's gone, it's gone. But
wow.
The most amazing thing is to treat people with chronic pain. Like when you have pain.
Right.
Like Vanya was one of them, and she was very skeptical. She's like, no, that's not where this is coming from. But the next day she came back and she says, that actually, I mean, we all have constant pain and constant emotions from birth. Mm-hmm. But she
but you don't realize how sometimes your pains are actually not even yours.
Right.
They're generational. They're codes in your gene code. I mean,
right.
They're handed down from your great-grandmother or something down there, and it just passes down, and you're carrying the thing. So it's time to get rid of that shit.
I know. It's time to get rid of that. Yeah, Grandma, why'd you do that, great-grandma?
Yeah,
What's wrong with you?
exactly. So it's hard to understand, but it does work. And you can even go, if you want to get really crazy, you can go past life too.
Okay.
With it. Because it will relate to that. Because trauma sometimes are past life traumas that you bring forward. And this helps you clear that so you don't have to carry that anymore.
Wow.
So what's interesting is I don't think people give the human body enough credit.
Right.
Like, we are miraculous creatures. Like, it's just not by happenstance that we're like this.
Right.
I just think that a lot of us are conformed to not go beyond a certain level of knowledge.
Right.
But the interesting thing is that if you become a nurse, which Vanya was a nurse.
Right.
In training, you learn the modality of healing touch for your patients, which is just the simple laying of your hands on somebody. Mm-hmm. They're just not going any deeper, which is what I can do, and that gives you the option. But the crazy thing is people will walk around and ask, I feel this heavy weight on me, and I constantly am trying to get rid of it. I'm doing everything I can to help myself. Right. But it never goes away. Like people with severe depression, or people with severe PTSD, or I guess sexually abused.
Right.
Most of these things are signals that it doesn't belong to you. It's like you inherited it from somebody, and it's just basically, if you imagine bricks laying on top of bricks. Right. And then you combine your emotions on top of those bricks, and then they're just being pushed down further and further. So, and you can go to counseling all you want, honestly. I've been to counseling. Right. It's nice to talk to somebody. Some people like to talk to people, but ultimately, you're not going to release that stuff unless somebody releases it from you, or you know how to release it yourself. Right. Because we are energy. And so that's the crazy thing. People are like, if you took a microscope and zoomed in on us all the way to the cajillionth level, like we would disappear. Like it would just... Wow.
Well, in this day and time, and of course, with all the stuff that's been going on lately, with all the people that are having problems and utilizing those problems with weapons and hurting other people and everything, this is perfect time to get into something like this. So how would you react to someone who, just say like someone getting fired that might be ready to go and do what this guy did in Louisville a few days ago? What's your thought process on people like that, or anything to the sort? So how you could help them to keep it from initially happening? I mean, I know a lot of therapists work with people like this. I mean, they really do. That's why we have less shootings than we think.
Yeah. Well, so I guess one of the things that I'll start off with, one of the things I disagree with, not 100%, because everybody has their way of healing with doctors. I mean, some medicine helps. Right. Some people need medicine. But I think having a mixture of both can sometimes help, and maybe don't need it at all. Right. But too many doctors jump straight to medication. Right. And that covers up the root of the issue. Yeah. A lot of businesses don't provide the opportunity for their employees to have therapy, or they hold it at a certain level, like airline pilots, for instance, airline pilots can't actually go to a counselor. Because if they do, I mean, they can, but if they do and they get written up as having depression of any sort, they'll get their license pulled.
Oh, my goodness.
So instead, you got air pilots venting to each other back and forth.
Oh, Lord.
Flying 14, 18 hours.
I know.
And then one pilot takes a plane down. Who knows? Because, I mean, it's just like, I had somebody come in, a client of mine that was a pilot. Right. She got the help she needed. Right. But it's the same instance. Like, if you don't have that available to your employees. Right. And I guess the gentleman who acted on this was an employee of some place.
Yeah, of the bank that was there. Yep.
So there's something going on there where it's not available or it's being controlled to where if you report it or it gets reported, or people just don't know about it.
Yeah, I think it's a little of all three.
But the school system's the same way.
It is. It is.
Like, and I just don't, I mean, it does break my heart because the last thing you want people to do is take a gun out on somebody else or a child to commit suicide of some sort. It seems so political, honestly. It seems very political.
It does, and the reality of it is, and there's a lot of stigma behind a lot of this, that if I go and see somebody and talk to them, or if I start doing this, people are going to think, quote, I'm crazy. And I hate to use that word, but that's what that's what they use. So when we really do need all this, and there is opportunities to get more mental health care out there for all of us, it's just that it's a stigma on it. And I think people out there are just now realizing that we need to start fixing our minds as much as we repair our bodies.
Well, so you have people will say, well, if I tell somebody I feel like I'm crazy, or I feel like I just want to take the world out. You don't have to use the word crazy. Let's reverse those words and say, I'm trying to work on being the best version of myself I can be. Right. Which takes out those negative thoughts in your own mind to begin with. And it kind of drops the ball so you're not being so critical to yourself. But at the same time, what I do is I work on a variety of people for all different reasons. Whether you have stage fright or whether your animal's sick, because animals have emotions too. Or you have depression. It doesn't need to be documented. Coming to somebody like us, you don't have to actually report that to the insurance, one. Okay. Two, I'm there to help you heal so we can let you go move further. Right. Not have you constantly keep coming in back and forth and have a conversation back and forth constantly and just constantly be in pain.
Because the goal is for you not to come back.
Yeah. In order to treat everybody, the whole goal is to have, I feel like all of us have that ability to heal.
Yeah. You're flipping a house in one day.
Yeah. It's just like, you just got to be given the opportunity to feel the actual thing take place. Yeah. And then you have room to come in and actually focus on what it is you can do. Like, it's crazy. The people who make the highest salaries, it seems like, have the most stressful jobs but have the least amount of support.
Right. It's true.
Doctors, nurses, pilots. I mean, you're making six figures and you're being treated like a doormat in a way, I think, where you are being held, even like air marshals. Air marshals have it horrible.
Oh, yes. I can believe it.
But, yeah, like teachers, police, everybody who's like there for the rescue of humanity in a way.
Nobody rescues them.
Yeah, and then they don't pay attention to what's right in front of us, which is like the holistic world can really help. But I think that the conformity has been like blinders for people for so long. Yeah. That it's just, it eventually, like the report I have, so if people are interested in finding actual medical reports on what I do. Yes. So there's a company called, it's Alternative and Integrative Medicine. So it's like a research article that was done in 2021. So it's probably one of the first research articles that were done to report like self-depression, PTSD, traumatic stress disorders. And so it can show for doctors who want to see like actual facts. Right. It's there. I mean, it's available.
There's documentation.
But people just like to dismiss stuff versus actually come out and try it. Try it first before you dismiss it. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. Everybody has their likes and dislikes.
Yeah, and everybody has their, it's like there's a physician for every illness, kind of thing. So it may, that method may not be what you need. Right. But we have so many in there, and that so you can pick and choose which works best for you. The goal is just to make you better.
It definitely is, and like I said, I believe it's a stigma of our society that we just have to. If I do this, somebody's going to judge me. Somebody in my family or some friend is going to say this about me, and it goes back to what you were saying. And do you get a lot of patients that are really fearful from their family and friends judging them on anything they do in life? It doesn't matter, just coming to you is a small minority of them doing, but just anything that they do in life, whether it's their choice of a job, their choice of spouse or whatever. Do you get anybody like that comes in to you that's like, the reason I'm depressed, the reason I'm this way is my family just don't accept me.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Honestly, I think we all because your family. Yes, you're born into your family, but your family isn't who you are.
Right.
You develop who you are on your own, and based on your environment and who you're really truly meant to be. And it's crazy because a lot of people come in with inherited emotions, which typically means it's inherited from father and mother,
right?
And it just goes down,
Grandma,
all that way down.
There's great grandma again.
But the cool thing is,
they'll get it down too. So.
If you had to basically, I would love to work on a blind person because they can't see and they can feel things their senses are heightened.
Right.
Unlike ours in certain areas.
Right.
So once I release this stuff. And the fact of the matter is I'm not psychic. I can't see into your mind.
Right.
So I'm literally asking the questions. And if these are giving me answers saying yes, I'm going to get an answer of who it's coming from. Now, the answer is like to your question about being judged by family. If it's coming from your family, it's going to be released from your family as well.
Right.
Okay.
And as long as you are consistent with these things, now... People have egos. We have the curse of emotions, which is good and bad.
Right.
So you really can't control anybody else. Like Vanya says, you can't control what other people think.
Right.
And you just got to be you and be that example to other people.
Right.
People are going to do what they want to do, but if you know that they're not healthy for you to be around,
right,
you
have to
take care of you and dismiss yourself.
Right.
And even if it's just separation for a while.
Right, yeah.
Everybody needs that. Everybody has different personality types. So we're not all meant to be like, what is it?
Clones.
Cookies and cream and
cookies and cream's all like that.
I mean, but again, the more you work on yourself, like if let's go take a religion, for instance,
right.
Like the more you work on yourself, the better example you'll be to your brother and sister.
Right, exactly.
And so if you can't be the best version of yourself, if you can't be helping yourself, then you can't be helping other people because you're just so quote unquote being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
But it's interesting is because you have churches all around Newnan, around the state of Georgia, but a lot of them are concerned about a lot of energy work, healing modality stuff without actually looking into what it is.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that, can I mention Jesus?
Yes, you can.
Sorry, Jesus. I mean, we're talking about you right now.
Yeah, you can.
So Jesus was a healer. He was sent. He stated that.
Used energy.
Yeah, and what did Jesus said that we're all made in like His image, and so we all have that ability to do that stuff, and we can. Now, you can do things that are not healthy for you because we are very powerful. The universe is very powerful. We're not the only things in the universe. And if you choose to do something evil, then like the person who took out other people recently, then that's your choice. But the fact of the matter is that it's not witchery. It's not anything but you're using gifts that you were given. And everybody can, whether you're a believer or you're not a believer, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is it's energy. So I like to say that I just have a gift that I tap into source, God, whatever you want to call it. Right. And I allow that to work through me. And I can teach it. Anybody can learn it. Who has a true calling to do that. Right. But I would call it political, religious, of any sort. It's a medical form of holistic treatment to help people. And it's out there. And I just hate seeing people suffer or commit suicide.
It's totally non-invasive.
No, it's not. No, you can't. I don't have to touch you. I don't have to give you a gigantic hour lecture. Right. I don't have to give you tips and tricks when you go home. No. It's just very straightforward, to the point. And what's funny is Tony Robbins. Oh yes. Tony Robbins wrote a book with this gentleman, Dr. Bradley Nelson, the one who created the emotion code and created the emotion code and body code. Mm-hmm. Tony Robbins they have a whole long list of gentlemen that all do self-help stuff. But they all support each other. But the interesting thing is that they're very popular, but it's funny, what arena of celebrity are you popular in? Because you have all these celebrities in one category who have no idea who these people are. Right. And then you have Tony Robbins and Dr. Bradley Nelson. They know who those people are. So I guess it depends. Like in my world, Vanya's a celebrity.
Right.
Like there are many people in this like we're listening to some amazing drum music that is from another country. This guy's a celebrity, but a lot of people don't know who he is. So it's, there's one person for so many people that gravitate towards that person that can get help from the person. But there's millions of us out there to help.
Yeah.
So versus fighting it when we're at a time of need and desperation.
Yes.
It's better just to
find somebody.
Just say what if. Just give your a chance.
If
what
that
if
don't work,
it doesn't work?
Go someplace, do something else. You know.
There you go.
It's like I tell them at the house, if that doesn't work and that doesn't work, then you come to me. Then we get into the real nitty-gritty.
Well, one more question. How did you come upon the House of Light?
Funny. Okay, so I just moved out here from Woodstock like about 2.5 years ago.
Right.
Because I fell in love with the guy and I met him on Match randomly. It was just like and it's a gentleman just like myself, someone I've never dated that is into the metaphysical world. And they're all realtors, and so I moved out here strictly for him.
Right.
Started working at there's a place called Children Connect Museum. It's a
yes.
Yeah, so basically my family that I married into, or am marrying into, the Prangs own the place. They started it.
Oh, yes.
So I became the director there.
Okay.
And through that, I ended up meeting a gentleman. His name's Bruce, and he has, what's Bruce's Reiki?
He does Reiki.
So Bruce, what's his last name?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
So Bruce is a professional ballet teacher. He was a dancer for years. He trains out of Southern Art Dance.
Okay.
So he started focusing on Reiki because he was originally going to start doing what I did, but he was called to doing that. And so then through that, I ended up coming in to support him one day to the House of Light one night just to be a friendly face and try it out. So it's interesting. Reiki for me, I don't resonate with Reiki. I don't understand it because I haven't really researched it.
Right.
But I understand what I do.
Right.
So I went in there, I left. Donna, the owner of the place, and Vanya, they had encouraged me to come back.
Right.
Offered the practitioner options were open. And, I was one of those people that wanted to kind of tuck myself away from the world.
Right.
I usually work virtually internationally.
Right.
For me, I just didn't want to be bothered. But again, I didn't have any friends that were like me at all since I've been here.
Right.
Except for my fiance. And it got to the point where I was getting so depressed myself because I wasn't around all this. And I think I was supposed to be in there.
Right.
I was avoiding it. When you're avoiding something, it's going to get worse and worse.
Amen. Let's let the choir say amen.
It's like this rain cloud over you. You're like, okay, it's time to rain some sunlight over me.
You're not moving, we'll move you for you.
Well, I came in and I was like, all right, Donna, I'm ready to get signed up. What I need to do? So we did a trial, and she said, "When do you want to start?" I said, "Next week." She goes, "Cool, well, let's go."
Sounds about right.
Is,
yeah, everybody has a story. They always ask them that particular question: "What led you to the House of Light?" Everybody always has a different story, and everything. Well, Vanya, you've had a good time this morning. You've kind of co-host for the first time in a long time. And let's just, is there anything, before we get to that, when are you going to be at the House of Light next?
Well, you're there on Wednesdays, right?
I'm here on Wednesdays. I'm going to start adding some more days.
Okay.
But I recently,
have to call in.
I'm doing everything virtually mainly. So if I can either do it virtually, I can do it inside the House of Light.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just gotta
call
the number.
the House of Light, and they will hook you up.
Sounds good. Well,
yeah, we got a lot of things going on, so please go on Facebook and look at our calendar and our phone number. Everything's there. So, because there's so much, I couldn't tell you all that in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know you don't have, but so much going on. How
this right now, Sunday, we have yoga church.
Okay.
If anybody's interested in breath work.
Okay.
And healing of that modality, it is amazing. It's at 4 o'clock. It's free for anybody who wants to come, but please bring a yoga mat with you because you're laying on the floor.
Sounds good.
But it's a fun time to have.
All right. Well, definitely follow House of Light, of course. This has been House of Light Presents Wisdom Cafe. Before we let you out, anything else you'd like to let the listeners know, Vanya?
We're there to help anybody in any case, and any problem, and anything. If we can't help you, we'll find somebody who can.
Sounds good. And I think we'll see you next week as well with Rick.
Yes.
Yes, Rick is coming from a more medical
psychological
viewpoint, psychological viewpoint.
Yeah.
So, and he and I kind of see eye to eye on that in a way.
Awesome.
So it's intrigued him to hear more about what we compete.
So she will be back here next week.
I can't wait for that show. All right, this has been the House of Light Presents.
You've been listening to the House of Light Presents the Wisdom Cafe on 99.1 FM WQEE. The House of Light, a wellness center at 29 Jackson Street here in Newnan, is a place for people to relax and find true healing. For additional information, 407-414-6711. Remember to tune in next week for another healing message from the House of Light Presents the Wisdom Cafe right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Are you looking for guidance and direction? Stop on by the House of Light,